Memories of your very first match.
Scared as hell, because I didn't know that I was going to be able to have the job. What happened was when my uncle broke his hip, they had just won the tag team championships. And they were looking for another partner to put with my dad, which kind of got my dad hot. He was like, that's not just my partner, that's my brother. He says, I'm not going to, tag with anybody unless it's Captain Lou Albano or my son.
Right.
At that time, I was working in Dallas, and Andre was traveling through the different territories on the way. Andre had seen me in Texas and told Vince, he says, yeah, I seen him. He's a big kid. Put him in there. So I kind of owe a lot to Andre for putting in a good word.
Early memories of Andre the Giant, because you were around him for many, many years.
Love him, miss him. He took me under his wing in Japan, and I was there to, I was the young boy there. I was there to absorb all the ribs, and he'd take me, and Dick Murdoch take another guy, and I say, oh, my guy can outdrink your guy. Oh, no, they can't. And then we all end up drunk out there in Japan, in the middle of nowhere, just having a good time. It was great memories.
What was he like outside the ring?
Who, Andre?
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, it was just like all of us, we go shower up, try to get out, and go have a good time, unwind a little bit. I think that's the hardest part about being on the road all the time is the unwinding part. It's kind of hard to go from so high of a high to try to bring it down and be able to get some rest before the night's over. You got to wake up and do it again.
After you made your debut, do you remember the feedback that either your father or Sika had given you?
My debut first guy match was Jose Luis Rivera.
Remember him? Yep.
I believe it was a Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Scared as hell. Went out there. I couldn't even have a mustache. I didn't even have a mustache. Couldn't buy a six-pack. It was brutal. I'm sorry I got off track. What was that?
No, I was just asking if they gave you any feedback after your first match working Jose.
Yeah, well, a little bit later as time went on and more matches came in, I often wondered, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And my dad assured me if I didn't, I wouldn't be there. So it was kind of cool for a youngster to be under pressure and put into a position where you're forced to, react and perform.
I'm going to get to the story.
I see Solo's doing that now.
Yes.
So this really brings back a lot of memories watching that too.
What type of learning experience was working in Japan, and what are your memories of working with Inoki?
I got a lot of those memories in Japan. The ribs, mostly, like I said, Murdoch. I go out there with Murdoch. One of the first matches, it was a tag, me and Murdoch. So they have these geisha girls. They come out there, and they got these flowers, and they present you with these flowers. So I'm wild Samoan now. And I got a little mustache now, so I'm like, snatch the damn flowers out the geisha girls' hand. I start chewing on the shit. I'm biting it, and then Murdoch says, Sam. I said, what? He says, those flowers are poisonous. I said, oh. I start breaking the character. I start spitting these flowers out. I was like, what a rip.
What was Adonis doing at that time?
Everybody's like, everybody was like,
oh, that's great.
Good times. They ribbed me a lot in Japan.
Yeah.
One time you asked about it with Inoki too. One time my family came over to Japan. They gave me the day off. They said, take your family to Disneyland. We'll get you a bigger room. They gave me a bigger room. I was like, wow, this is really nice. Got a bigger room. And, they give me the day off. I get to go to Disney. They got me the tickets for Disneyland. So then I come home. I come back, and they go, the next day, they said, you signed a contract for so many matches, and if you can work twice tonight, that would be great, and it makes the contract still everything good. So I'm just like, sure, I don't mind working twice. It wouldn't be the first time, I worked 2-3 times. So just when you go out there, your first match, after it's over, they said, just stay in there, because you're going to be tagging with Andre. I said, oh, okay, that's a night off, that's easy.
Right.
So then I'm standing in the ring, and here comes the baby faces, and Inoki, especially of all baby faces. You think of Entourage. This guy comes out with the whole young boy crew, like about 20 or 30 of them, and his tag partners, or who I thought. And I'm like, oh, I'm out here by myself. This doesn't feel right, like, what am I going to do here? So I'm not going to be a mark this time or get caught in the rib. I'm like, oh, fuck that, I'm leaving. I go back and I start walking back toward the dressing room. I get halfway to the dressing room, and they hit Andre's music, and he comes out with a Wakamatsu, the guy with the microphone.
Yep.
And Andre starts coming on, and he's taking these giant steps. And he says, And he looks at me and says, "Come on!" And I have to kind of catch up to his ass because he's taking these big ass steps just to keep. So then now I go back, and now it's a little more, odds are more even now. So I'm in the ring now, finding Inoki. I'm shadow boxing him. And then finally the referee goes, "Sammy!" I said, "What? What?" He says, "What are you doing out here?" I said, "What do you mean?" It was a single match with Andre and Inoki. I had no business even being out there, bro. I was like, and I think they told the fans too, because even the Monarchs was busting up, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy."
That is awesome.
I kind of just, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So I put my head down and walk back to the dressing room.
Now, you also worked for Fritz Von Eric early in your career for World Class. How did you get hooked up with that territory?
Gary Hart, Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes used to be he's from Pensacola area, so he was up there in Texas. Gary Hart mostly, my first run over there. I was only 17 then. I was there about 8 months, and then I was going to get ready to start with Bill Watts. That's when Sika broke his hip, and he said, "Go up and see your dad. You haven't seen him. Here, take this belt with you, give it to them." And then they end up letting me, take Sika's spot for a while.
Yep, we're going to talk about that coming up. Memories of when you were in Texas working at the Sportatorium. That's a infamous venue.
Sportatorium, loved it. Ring as stiff as cement, but I love the area, love the territory, love the people. Hey, that's where I started. You never forget kind of where you came from.
Would you consider that your first territory?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Von Erichs. What are your memories of Fritz?
Fritz, never really met him too much. You never face to face. Once in a while, we'd run into him in his office, but never really talked business with him. Always stuck with the bookers.
Who was the booker when you were there?
Gary Hart.
Gary was there?
Gary
Okay,
Hart.
he was the booker.
Yeah.
Memories of the sons, Curry, Kevin?
Good memories. Had a lot of good fights with them. And that's what they were, fights. And
Kevin
we
pretty
loved
stiff in
it.
the ring?
Yeah, that's fine though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right down our alley, and it was really. When you have two teams that do that, like we had a chemistry with them because of the similar styles, and the Monarchs, they can put out a good one.
Coming from a wrestling family yourself, did the Von Erichs seem similar to your family in how they lived and approached the business?
No, they were more babyface and more people persons, and we as heels kind of always kept to ourselves, trying to protect the business that way. And
Were there any veterans in Texas that really went out of their way to help you and give you some?
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Kabuki, one, he taught me how to chop. Bundy, Almadrill, everybody. Gary Hart, rest in soul. He said, "One day I'm going to make you $1 million," and every time I see him, I say, "Today." He's like, always messing with him, but good guys down there.
Great Kabuki. You
John Ernesto, I was booked with him religiously. He was like my babysitter. He babysit me. I'm sorry.
Right.
So I got to travel with him. That's when I learned about the 5 cents a mile trans and all of the good stuff that comes with the road and stuff.
Bill Irwin was down there. Tim Brooks.
Yes.
The Spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all those guys. You mentioned a couple of minutes ago about a couple seconds ago, Gary Hart. What are some other attributes that Gary did for World Class?
Oh shoot, he used to tell me, and we used to wonder why too. He's like, "I'm the only one that sell out the stadium over there and get fired the next day."
Right.
So Gary was a good guy. He was one of the boys first, I think, before he was in office. I think that's kind of where he got into his mix-ups with the office, or Fritz, should I say.
What year is this? 82, maybe?
81, maybe?
81, okay. You went to WWF as the third Samoan, Samu. What was your reaction to being brought to the territory so young?
Like a deer in the headlights. Like I said, I couldn't grow a mustache. I couldn't do anything.
Pretty intimidating?
Yes, yeah. And then the captain out there, he's always goofing around. So I don't want to laugh, and my dad's always picking his nose, and
yes.
I had this baby face where I didn't look right picking my nose. It just wouldn't look right. So they were like, I got it. They made me turn around and just look at the camera this way.
Right.
And for a longest time, he said, "Yeah, we're going to make them pay to see what you look like, kid." So.
Initial thoughts of Vince McMahon Sr. What are your memories of Vince Sr.?
I didn't get too much time to be around them as much. Vince Jr. was pretty much running everything then to the in the back, and but just nothing but respect for him. My dad really liked him a lot. Vince went out of his way to help my dad a couple times, and my dad never forgot it.
Did you have any dealings at all with Vince Jr. around this period of time?
Oh God, yeah. One time, as kids, we always piss our parents off. We were in Allentown on our way to the Garden, and I made my dad mad, and he's like, "You're not going to the Garden tonight." And I wanted to go, I wanted to go so bad, and I was like, I'm gonna. So as getting a teenager, getting smart ass, I said, "I'm gonna go anyway." He says, "Well, they're not gonna let you in," and I was like, "Yeah, they will." I'm thinking it in my mind, so I wear the lava to the back of the Garden, just mess my hair up. They see me, they open the door, they let me right in.
They did, yeah. They thought you were working the show.
Yeah. So I go up and I look in the office door. In the dressing room door, and I see my dad sitting there, all the boys, and I'm peeking in there, and then my dad gave me that damn look, and I'm like, shit, I know he's still pissed off now. So I shut the door, and I'm just standing in the hallway, just my lava and crazy ass hair. Then Vince Jr., they're having a battle royal that day. I think Antonio Inoki was in it. He was going over in the thing. And I'm just standing in the hall, and Vince Jr., he says, "You want to go in there, don't you?" I said, "Oh, yes, I do." He said, "Well, go ahead." And I was like, I'm not even going to say nothing, ask twice. I right through the curtain, Finkel picked up on it. And Samoan number 3, I was like, oh, shit. So
wow.
That was something I'll never forget.
So this was the night that your dad didn't even want you to go to the show. And,
yeah.
And you kayfabed, you went on your own, you got up there to the building yourself.
Uh-huh. And end up in the battle royal.
That's insane. That is awesome. What did your dad say to you when he came back to the locker room?
No, he was happy for me because he knew I was happy. I wish I had clothes on because I had nothing under that lava that night. And when I told Inoki to duck, I flew over the top rope, hit the floor, and everything. I had to do everything I could to hold that thing on and not let my balls out in front of everybody.
Did any of the boys give you feedback? Because that actually helped you get your job in New Japan, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was almost there every 2 months after that. It was crazy, yeah.
Did that spot in the Battle Royal help you get into WWF any quicker? Or were you working after that? Did they say, hey, we want to bring you to TV? Or did you pretty much go to New Japan right after that and go back to the territories?
No, not yet. Not yet. I was still doing, right then, Sika was just coming back too, so I was able to get involved in a couple of 6-man tags there.
I remember all that stuff. Yep.
We had some fun ones.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.